Welcome back, everybody, to your three-man booth. We're still in the NFL offseason. I'm Dan Salem with Phil and Bud. We're going to focus this around the New York Jets to start with because they traded their former number 3 overall pick, Sam Darnold, quarterback. Bud and I are fans for good and bad. Phil likes to make fun of us across town from the Giants. But let's see. This is all about the chain reaction or an overreaction. What were you feeling? What do you think this means for the rest of the quarterback market? The Jets.
I think the quarterback market is pretty much dried up at this point, right? And I think I feel bad for Sam Darnold. I feel bad for him. If you look at it from a outsider's point of view, I mean, this was not his fault. I think he's a much better quarterback than people give him credit for. I think Adam Gase completely ruined him, and I firmly believe that this is going to be a Ryan Tannehill part two. I really believe that he's going to a team that has outside weapons, a tremendous running game, a young coach that clearly seems to know what he's doing, a halfway decent defense. I just,
Carolina's
I just,
yeah. I have my thoughts. Phil, what do you sent this to us? Breaking news, big
I
news.
did.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised none of you guys saw it before me. I was hoping actually he went to Washington, to be quite honest with you. I think that would have been a pretty good spot for him.
Yeah.
But Carolina's not bad. I hope he knows he's pretty good about handing the ball off to Christian McCaffrey every time because 90% of the offense goes for him.
Yeah.
So as long as he can hand the ball off to him, he'll do pretty well.
He's in a good spot. I feel like this is all about new opportunity as the whole thing kind of played out. I mean, he's going to be in Carolina. He's got a shot to really restart things. He's only been in the league 3 years. He never got a chance in New York, and he was always injured on and off the field. So this is a fresh start. The Jets got a lot of good draft picks for somebody that was the only option out there. So Carolina gave up 3 picks for him. That's 3 players the Jets can get.
So looking at what they got this year, are you a little disappointed in the 6th round pick this year? Or do you think he was undersold?
Well, I think it's the 2nd round pick next year that's the real valuable piece of that. I mean, it doesn't really matter what year it comes in. I mean, next year's class is probably going to be really good too. And so that 2nd round pick lets them trade up or lets them pick another impact player.
I
also think the Jets did themselves. Sorry, Phil, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just knowing that, now don't have me comparing him to Russell Wilson or Watson at the time, but they were going for multiple 1st round picks and, a king's ransom. And I don't know, to see a 6th round pick, I feel like that's a little short change for a team that obviously needed a quarterback.
He was the worst rated passer in the league last year. So,
I think we can all agree there's reason for that.
Yeah, but he still was the worst rated passer in the league. So you can't take that away from the situation. He didn't do anything outstanding, even though he wasn't given anything to work with.
In Carolina got a steal.
They hope so. I don't know. He wasn't. I think Bud, you and I have said here before. We didn't think he was going to succeed in New York any longer. He had too much of the old stink of that old Jets that they're trying to burn at the stake with him because he came in with it.
But this is how the NFL works, right? The NFL works. You draft quarterbacks until you find a quarterback, and I think again, I don't think that they did him any kind of favors by surrounding him with a completely inept team. Last year, the offensive line was better than it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago was the worst offensive line I've ever seen in my life. The coaching staff was atrocious. He got the last year of the Todd Bowles era, which was a complete joke.
Yeah.
When you get drafted in the top 5 of an NFL football team, unless you are Peyton Manning, who, by the way, Peyton Manning wasn't successful his first year and half of his second year either. Yeah. You're not going to win, right? It's going to be a struggle to start to win, and they didn't give him the team that they should have given him 2 years ago when they got Bell and CJ Mosley. They just throw money at the problem. That's what the Jets do. I think Joe
They
Douglas
drafted.
is doing
They
something
drafted
right here.
so badly. They drafted so badly. I mean, I don't think he's a bad pick, but like up until Douglas came in, they've had such terrible first and second round picks. It's that's why the team
Well,
sucks.
they now have 21 picks in the next 2 years.
I know.
There's no more excuses. If this is going to be if this is going to be your business model, you cannot mess this up, because if you go through these next 2 years and you start to, and you don't change, and you don't make that next step,
Yeah.
you're gonna be looking for a new GM too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens. Like if they can't do something with all these picks, they'll be done after 3 years, another 3 or 2. But
Yeah, I mean, we were going to talk about it last week, Dan, and then Phil fell asleep. But
yeah,
Yes.
Here's the thing. What I think about quarterbacks in their pro days, right? They go out there. There's
The underwear Olympics.
Well, you go out there. It's a set play. You have no defense, and you're basically just showcasing your arm strength, right?
yeah.
Anybody can go out there and make those passes look fine. It's when you're lining up against 11 guys and you have to read defenses. I mean, that's a whole different story.
But this trade for Darnold was a choice for Zach Wilson, and that kid, he has a really, really high ceiling, and he's a perfect fit for the offense they want to run. How many times have they actually brought in a quarterback that fits their offense that they are just installing? I mean, this is all kind of starting together, and they got something out of their other quarterbacks, so there's no question Wilson's going to come in. He's going to start. They need a backup in case but that's good. I mean, they didn't make the deal with San Francisco, so they obviously are going to pick him, and then they got what they got something decent for their other quarterback. They consider the last regime's mistake. It's a good situation for the Jets. I think they have too much.
If I were the Jets, and obviously this is way too late to do it now, but because Sam is now gone.
Yeah.
If Sam was still on the team, I would have called San Francisco and said, okay, you want the number 2 pick? I want the number 3 pick, and I want Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Or Joey Bosa, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I mean that's the type of thing you're talking about, but I mean we're not
too late now. It's too late now.
Like I think though, I look at what the Giants did. Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He could be. He looks great at times, but he's a very good quarterback.
Well, we'll have that answer after this year. This is the prove it year. If it works out great, if not, you're gonna be back in the same pond again next year.
But I don't feel like they've been trying to get him receivers. He never had great wide receivers, and he never had great offensive line. But he still did. He played better than Sam Darnold, in my opinion. There was something about the way he led that team that it just felt like he was doing something right. Now he's got Barkley. He did it without Barkley last season, even. I don't need Zach Wilson to be Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. I mean, that'd be amazing, right? That's like we need him to be Daniel Jones. We need him to be good enough to elevate the team and lead it, and then surround him with more players, and then they get better, and then they win. So everyone wants to like hit that home run. I mean, but if Daniel Jones is a perennial double, that's more than enough, right?
It also gives you the next 5 years of a rookie contract to go out there and be more flexible too, because you had to pay Sam or you had to make that decision after this year, right?
Absolutely.
They had to make a decision by May.
Yeah.
All right. So before, all right. So I mean, that probably had a lot to do with it too.
Well, I wrote an article. Do you want Wilson, Fields, or 2022? Because you could get a quarterback next year, right? Because you have all this draft capital, assuming the team drafted high enough to draft him. But they obviously chose to draft Wilson because they got rid of Darnold. So I think that got cleared up. But we were all assuming they're going Wilson. Is that like a slam dunk to you, Bud, as a Jets fan, from everything you're hearing?
I think it is, unless Jacksonville's stupid enough to pick Fields or Wilson.
I think Jacksonville already tipped their hand a few days ago, basically saying we're taking Lawrence.
I think so.
Yeah, that's what Urban Meyer said.
Yeah.
But I more meant at the Jets.
Zach Wilson is coming. Zach Wilson's the pick. Sounds like it.
You don't think you don't think Fields has a shot at getting picked by the Jets?
I don't.
Yeah.
Here's what I've learned throughout all of this. I'm never buying another football jersey again. I bought a Sam Darnold jersey, and I never even wore it because of the goddamn pandemic. It's still sitting up in the closet. I'm never going to wear it.
Well, does it
Every
say
player I get a jersey, they get rid of them immediately.
you need just the number and not the name?
You know, you need to get one of the jerseys with your own last name on it, so then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
Awful.
I recommend. Well, if we want to complete the full clean slate, we do need you to do the jersey bonfire and get the Wilson jersey to replace the Darnold and the Sanchez and the Hackenberg and the.
I will never burn my Mark Sanchez jersey.
Good man.
That's when you can still wear it to the stadium at all times. You know, you won't get heckled for that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. It'll just stay in the closet.
So, what do you guys think the chances are that Darnold loses the starting job to Bridgewater?
0. They've already picked up his 50. They already immediately picked up his 5th-year option.
Oh, I didn't see that. That was that quick. They got it. Okay.
Yeah, he's the starting quarterback.
Okay. So
Teddy Bridgewater was only on a 1-year deal. So I mean, is he even coming back?
So he's reunited with Robbie Anderson, and like you said, the running game is outstanding. We're going to learn really quickly if he is.
If McCaffrey can stay healthy this year.
Well, yeah, if Darnold can stay healthy. That was my thing. We would know so much more about him if he was on the field all 3 seasons. Like, holy, he went out with mono. He was in and out. He got hurt at the end of his rookie year, shoulder. And this past season, he only missed a couple games this past season. But the team was never really a lot worse or a lot better when he wasn't on the field. I mean, he has a decent record, but it's not like great. It was buoyed by the end of that first Adam Gase season, which was just cupcake wins. I mean, I want him to succeed, but there's a chance that he doesn't. Because
it is good that that he's in the other conference and you only have to see him once every 4 years if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
By the way, this year is one of those years they have to put.
Oh, is it this year? Oh, so the narrative writes itself on that game.
So what do you guys think? Because that draft is pretty much a home run draft, right? Darnold, Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson,
Barkley.
Oh, no, sorry. So I'm talking about quarterbacks only. But yes, okay, fine.
It was still a home run draft.
Okay, so that was a home run quarterback draft. But then there's some clean misses like the Mariota and Winston draft, where it was really just those 2 guys, and neither one had sustained success. I mean, they're still in the league. They're not bad quarterbacks, but they're not starters, right? Last year looks like a home run. Now, so what's the odds? I mean, are we going to get another home run this year? Or is it really just going to be one guy? Are they all going to miss? I'm trying to see if there's a pattern in our quarterback success.
I mean, Lawrence
is a pretty strong field.
I do too.
I mean, Lawrence has pretty much been touted as the next, Andrew Luck around here.
Yeah, and Burrow was really highly rated last season, and he had a great year.
He came out of nowhere. He came out of nowhere too, just like Zach Wilson did. Mac Jones apparently is, he plays for Alabama. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't really hear much about him.
So the guy in Los Angeles, the Chargers, that quarterback running Rookie of the Year, we didn't really see him very highly entering the draft last season. No one was talking about him. The Chargers quietly drafted him. Did we get another one of him this year? Is there another, is that the Mac Jones pick later in first, you think?
Mac Jones might be later. Mac Jones might be going to San Francisco at number 3.
Oh, okay.
That's what I heard the same thing, Phil. I heard that they are very high on him.
Yeah.
What is that? You think there's truth to that? I wonder why.
I think there's big truth to that.
What's the negatives on Fields? Because I felt like it's pretty close between him and Wilson. It just depends on what offense you're going to run.
Well, Fields got his pants pulled down in front of the national audience there during the playoffs. That I think hurt him a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but he can. I mean, if you want to base it off of pro day, the guy is an absolute stud. He's a beast of an athlete. He's ripped. He's got a solid arm. The question is that historically Ohio State quarterbacks have not fared well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to go off of that base,
I guess that's true. But he's had good. I mean, he played well against good competition. That's the only thing that scares me about Wilson is that he didn't really have to play anybody of note, but he did perform well. It's just.
I saw something today that Atlanta and another team are thinking of trading down, and I forget the other team that it was, but.
Well, it could be the Panthers.
They're going to need quarterbacks in the near future. Matt Ryan's not going to play forever.
Yeah, but he could have 5 more years. and that
You
means
think
don't.
so?
Well, they're only they're only a couple years removed from the Super Bowl. So if he can pull another one of those seasons out of his career, they just need to give him a weapon, or offensive line, or
But I mean, like Julio's not going to play forever. So even the new guy, like, even if you draft a new guy, he doesn't play for a year or two.
no. But Bud is so high on this tight end, and they pick behind the 4 quarterbacks, or they have the opportunity to steal there.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking. I forget his name.
You
You mean the one the Dolphins are going to pick at 4?
It's I'm telling you, this guy, he's going to be a stud. And if I were the Jets, if he's still sitting on the board at like 5 or 6, I would start to package some deals, because you are going to need a tight end, because Chris Herndon is garbage.
Yeah.
And the best friend of a rookie quarterback is the tight end.
Well, they have 2 1s and 2 2s next year, so they are in a position to trade up from 23 this season if they want. I mean, that tight end, or the
and you have 21 picks the next 2 years. I mean, you have to be able to package something.
Well, what I'm learning about Joe Douglas is now that he has some assets, he's like really making the deals that he likes. Like, he has a very specific type of thing he goes for, and he's either just accruing numbers on his sheet, or he's getting players that he thinks with huge upside. So it's kind of, I mean, it's exciting. We don't even know what they're going to turn into, but I could see Atlanta with Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. You either add the tight end or the offensive tackle that are standouts, and that offense is back. I mean, I don't know who's running the football for them, but I would not write off Matt Ryan. He consistently puts up huge numbers, even if the team's not winning. And so that they lost last year because they didn't have a defense anymore, and they lost their defense from that Super Bowl run, and then their coach lost their job because of it. So that's a scary team with this top pick coming into them if they don't trade it. And I think we all agree Dolphins similar, right? Assuming Tua gets better.
I mean, they put all their eggs in the Tua basket.
They did, but they got another first round pick to add to the bunch.
And there's going to be where did they pick now? They pick
who, the Dolphins?
What number did they pick? Yeah,
sixth, I think.
Oh, that was
there's going to be. No, well, they traded that.
No. So it's
right.
San Francisco's got yes, they traded it. Yeah.
There's still going to be a quarterback available.
Yeah.
There's 5 first round talented quarterbacks. So I mean, if you want to go with the kid from North Dakota, or you want to go Justin Fields, he may still be there by then.
Well, they trade 2 of them, right? I mean, they're not going to have them both. They would trade them.
I mean, you have to, right?
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm not sold on Tua at all. Not at all. The Dolphins went 10-6 last year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they did that with smoke and mirrors, and Fitz was the one who won most of the games, because even when they were down, they would bring Fitz in the middle of the third quarter. So
yeah,
it's not like he was, displaying.
This is an interesting question, because I think the Jets are going to be better this season. Miami's on the up and up. I don't know, unless Tua bombs it, or they don't, or they have a new rookie. I think that they'll be a better team, right? And that was a 10-win team. We don't think Josh Allen's going to step back. Are the Patriots going to eventually be the odd team out in this division, or are they going to really did they do something this offseason to prevent that? Because all these teams can't be winners in the AFC East. And I just can't see how the Jets can remain on the bottom again. Maybe.
They will.
That's where you're coming
from. Here's what's going to happen. The Patriots are going to trade for Deshaun Watson, because the selling price on Deshaun Watson right now is like, you can give a laundry basket and some towels and a 7th round pick, and you might be able to get him to just get the baggage off of the Texans.
He's not going to see the field, though. Like, I just don't see how he plays this year.
Okay, that's fine. You have Cam Newton for 1 year.
What are we at, 25 allegations now? I mean,
yeah, and it's gone to the police. I don't know. So you really think they're going to go after Watson? That seems like such a low character move for them. Yeah. Okay.
It happens. You heard it here first.
You did. All right. Patriots signing Watson. Okay. So then that if he can see the field for them, that keeps them above it. But are they really going to bring Cam Newton out on week 1 of the season again?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
They have no choice. Who's their backup?
but how did this team get stuck with him? Because anybody would have given them a few more wins last year, in my opinion. He really couldn't throw.
Unless San Francisco is sold on the quarterback, which it certainly seems like they are because they just moved up in the draft 2 spots. And then they go for Jimmy Garoppolo, and then they could just release Cam. I mean, they don't owe him anything. Worst case scenario, they pay him a couple $1 million, and they say thanks for nothing.
Yeah, but I'm just like Marcus Mariota is a better option than Cam Newton, in my opinion. I feel like he's got more upside. I mean, Cam Newton's a good quarterback. He was very one-dimensional. I think that's the best way to put it. And he's never been successful. All of his success is because he was like 3-dimensional. So maybe he's adjusting this offseason, but he's going to got to be completely different.
He looked and played old last year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I think that once the Niners draft a quarterback, Jimmy G's open for business.
I agree. Well, do you think the Eagles are sold on their guy? They might be interested in Garoppolo.
You have to be. Because if you're not, you don't take him out of that game last year in week 17.
Yeah, they're trying to protect him.
Right. They're right. Exactly. You're basically saying this is our guy of the future. This is a meaningless game. You're not going to play. They pretty much do that. Whether it works out, it's a different story.
Well, and you Phil, you mentioned you were surprised Washington didn't go after Darnold to take it back to the original trade. Who's going to play quarterback for them?
Well, right now it's Fitzpatrick.
I know. Okay, I guess he's like another 1-year answer. What I mean.
Exactly. So a 1-year answer. You're right.
They must really like what he did with. Yeah.
That's why I thought Sam going there would have been a good spot for him.
Well, because that was a decent football team last year. I mean, they won the division, sort of. But I mean, technically, but they weren't a winning team. But they won. They won enough. It's just, and then he did a lot in Miami. I mean, Washington and the Eagles still feel like the bottom of that division. I can't put the Cowboys down there with Dak Prescott, but it's interesting that they had opportunity. They didn't do much with it.
Yeah, that's
it's funny. It's funny you say that, Dan, because I've been listening to all these people say that Dallas. I mean,
every year.
But besides that, though, Phil, Dallas's defense is awful. They're gonna be hemorrhaging points. And by the way, you have no idea what Dak you're gonna get. I mean, his ankle was dislocated. Is he going to be a mobile threat like he was? Is he going to be able to come back 100% week 1? I mean, there are question marks with this team. Zeke was a shell of himself last year. Their offensive line is falling apart. All of their money is locked up into basically 3 or 4 players, so they can't surround themselves with any other talent. I mean, I'm not sold on Dallas. I think the Eagles, if Jalen Hurts can play like he played towards the end of the year and he showed promising signs, I think Dallas Philadelphia is better than Dallas. I think Washington's better than Dallas.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you make a very valid point because there's no guarantees with Dak Prescott coming back. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks not come back great from injuries. I mean, Cam Newton came back well a couple times and then he didn't last year. There's Alex Smith was the exception that he got back on the field, but then he still couldn't stay healthy. So I don't know. They don't have a much of a backup plan for Dak, and they went all in.
Andy Dalton is now in Cincinnati. Wait, where the hell did he go? Oh, the Bears.
He's their starter, sort of. Yeah. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to change topics if you were ready.
Yeah, no, I'm ready.
I was going to say, what do you feel about the 17-game schedule now?
Oh.
I love it. It's more football. I love it.
It is. I mean, it's only going to make things more exciting for the end of the season for teams that are constantly barely on the playoff bubble, like our Jets. So it's going to be fun. I just haven't wrapped my head around changing my idea of what's a successful year yet. And we don't know. Like there will be no 9-7, so it'll either be 9-8 or 10-7.
I guess 9-8 is going to be your new, 9-7, right?
Well, I think the hope is that you need 10 wins and you're in, but I don't know.
See, I think you're wrong, Dan. I think it's 11 wins and you're in. I think you're going to have to get to 11.
You might, and
I
that's
don't think you're going to get a mediocre team. Remember, you've taken 500 out of the board. You're either above 500 or you're under 500.
yeah.
So you're either going to have to win. You're going to have to win 11 games.
Well, last year we had a team that made the playoffs that only won 7. So that's 7 and 9. I mean, is that the 7 and 10, or is that going to be 8 and 9?
But that was a division winner. I mean, if you look at all the teams in the AFC, everyone had 10 plus wins.
I just think that every year there's at least one bad team that makes the playoffs, right? And the playoffs expanded last season. It's going to stay that way, I believe. So we're going to continue to allow more teams to get in, which is why we ended up with some questionable entrants. The extra game should give teams more opportunity, but I think you're right. I think they're going to have to win all those winnable games. You can't overlook an opponent and expect to sneak into the playoffs. I mean, most teams don't, but Washington and the Giants were kind of doing it last year, and they got it.
I like what they're doing. I like that each year one conference is home, one conference is away. It's cut and dry, makes it simple. I guess it's the same kind of rotating schedule as they do when they play each division.
So I didn't look closely at it, but are we pushing the Super Bowl back a week?
Yes.
Yes.
Not this. Is it this year?
Yes, this year.
So it's going to be President's Day weekend.
Ah, that's fun. Okay.
Which is what people have been asking for 25 years.
Yeah, the holiday weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for some of us,
Oh yeah, more or less holiday.
It's a fake holiday, but
yeah, it'll be Super Bowl weekend soon enough. Just wait. That's what they want. Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, I think any more chances. I mean, I'm excited to watch Zach Wilson play for the Jets, especially if he fits the mold as well. And you got to be excited for Daniel Jones and Barkley to play together again. So more football is more football. That's
listen
all around.
The last time we did this, because I fell asleep last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I had said I hope they get Galladay. They got Galladay. They signed a Jackson. I mean, you don't win the offseason, but they've made a shit ton of moves this year to load that cupboard up. It's Daniel Jones has the weapons he needs, so he's either going to succeed or he's going to fail. It's going to be one or the other.
We talked about building your infrastructure and then paying for veterans like a Galladay, but he's a mid-age veteran, right? And so when you have the opportunity to add a player like him to something that's already a strong core, it's really a huge move. I mean, the reason the Jets made mistakes with adding those strong players, they had no core, so they just kind of added them and they stood over on the sidelines. But
now really draft for best player available rather than need, because you filled up a lot of your holes. You didn't fill up all the holes, you filled up some of them.
So the Giants are drafting pretty high. Who do you think their best player available is going to be?
I'm hearing an offensive tackle again. Just to shore up.
You need that. You need that with Barkley and Jones.
And I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Do you want them to trade up for the tight end, or do you want them to continue to roll with Ingram?
Because they have Ingram and Rudolph. So yeah, they're not top, but you have two of them now, right?
Yeah, I forgot they added to that. That's good.
So you don't need one stud. You have two okay guys, because Ingram is an okay guy. I want him to be better, but he's an okay guy.
Yeah. You hope he's a momentum player, right? So as the team plays better, he plays better type of thing.
And maybe one of these you have Kyle Rudolph on the other side, so you're not asking Ingram to do as much as he did last year, and maybe you just had a down year, but maybe take a little pressure off him.
So we're really early, but what will it take at the draft for you to flip this to be because I can tell you're cautiously optimistic, excited, right? You don't want to go too far towards that 11 wins, Bud's saying, but you feel good about your team. What's it going to take?
What, in the draft?
Yeah, for you to be we're winning the division, the case closed.
They're going to have a relatively boring draft name-wise, because they're going to draft probably an offensive lineman, which is never flashy.
Okay. And you don't feel like there's any too many holes to fill. So as long as they keep with that smart pick, you'll be happy.
Yeah, keep it. Yeah, exactly. Don't reach. Don't do anything stupid. Draft your tackle. I mean, I'll say this: either offensive tackle or linebacker, one of the two.
Okay. Yeah, because I I expect the Jets to make some deals after that number 2 pick. I'm not sure.
That'd be great to see.
I mean, teams seem willing and able, and the Jets have a lot to work with. I mean, they kind of I was envious of the Patriots for years, how many picks they always would have, and now the Jets have it. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but it's kind of a rare thing for our team. So
we don't have Bill Belichick picking the players, so
yes, and is that now a good thing because that team kind of crumbled?
So what's the Jets' second pick in the first round? Like in the
23rd pick.
Oh, 23rd.
23rd.
All right, because I was going to pose the same question back to you. So you're going to go quarterback number 2 probably. What are you looking for at 23, or is it just best player available?
Maybe there's a running back available.
Yeah, I don't know if that's too high or not because they pick high second round too, right?
Yeah.
Is that guy ETN coming out, the kid from Clemson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
And the kid from Alabama.
Yeah, but I
forgot what his name is.
They need to come away with one of those 2 players and a wide receiver, and I bet they get a lineman. But can they also get a pass rusher? I don't know if they can get all these players. They gotta get.
They're gonna have lots of picks.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we're not really doing like a draft predictions right now. We're still almost a month out, but any more trades? We normally get that. We got that one big one, right? With the 49ers and the Dolphins and the Eagles. You think we're going to stand pat, or you think we get one more deal before April?
I don't know. Like I said, I saw the report. There was the Falcons and another team looking to trade down. That could just be talk, but.
So, yeah, the Falcons are saying our pick's available, especially since the Jets are locked in now.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. Who the hell I'm talking about? Because.
Yeah, I mean, for them to say we're okay with Matt Ryan, that's not a bad decision. But I think that they could easily add a player around him. They should be smart to. I mean, 4 for 4 is looking pretty likely with the 4 quarterbacks, but that just seems like a bad move by a couple of teams, right? They can't all 4 be like, this is the right decision, and this is the right decision. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to see it.
All right. But who do the Jets get as their backup quarterback? Any targets? Right, I was coming up.
I mean, it's not far fetched to maybe like sign somebody like Teddy Bridgewater or something like that.
Oh, that's true. They need some.
I know that that's probably a little far fetched, but I mean, he's going to be available.
Yeah. A lot of them already got signed, so that's why I'm not sure.
You're going to need somebody with NFL experience as the backup. Yeah. You're not going to be able to just, whatever. I know that they drafted that kid, I think last year, the year before that, in the 4th round.
Oh,
but he doesn't see any play. No. Joe Flacco signed with the Eagles. So the Eagles. So I mean, you're gonna need to find somebody.
So we may have to meet prior to the draft because I'm just thinking about when the NFL schedule release is coming out, and that's always fun, right?
Oh yeah.
It's usually the 2nd or 3rd week of April. So.
Oh, okay. So we could do a mid-month show and then a draft.
Yeah, you give you something fun to do, and okay. I mean, NFL schedule release is such a nothing thing in the grand scheme of things, but we all eat it up. We all love it.
I know. Well, I saw a cool stat that the NFL performed better in Germany than the NHL performed here in America, and I was just like, oh, this league, no one can get enough of it. Doesn't matter where you live, apparently, which is cool. I feel bad for the German Jets fans. They could pick any team. They didn't pick our team. So we would like 2 Zach Wilson jerseys, Phil, sooner than later, so we can wear them before they wear out their welcome.
Let's make sure that they draft him first.
Oh gosh, imagine they don't pick him.
Nothing's out of the realm. I mean, they have no quarterback on the Rams right now, so they have to go quarterback.
They do.
Right.
I think number 1, number 2, and number 3 are pretty much locked in at the moment.
And if they don't draft him and they have to pick a different quarterback because otherwise that pick's too valuable to pick anybody else. I don't think Sewell, the offensive tackles, like more valuable than any of them.
Because who are you blocking for?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got it. It's 100% going to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Phil. Can we bet on that? Because you're probably there's just it's probably a terrible odds at this point.
Oh, I'm sure you can, but not legally in Connecticut yet.
Oh, right.
You can go over to Vegas and pick it up.
Okay, it's just a long trip. Bud's closer.
I can do it from his phone right now.
No.
I could, but I'm not going to. I don't know how to use that app.
I got to teach him.
So most of these teams are gonna have a good fans in the stadium, assuming everything goes right. Do you think the NFL is gonna relax its off-season policies because they're planning for an in-person draft, which seems there's no reason I could see that not happening. Do you think these players are actually gonna get on the field with their coaches this offseason? Because that really hurt a lot of players last year. It stunted the first 2, 3, 4 weeks of the year for many teams, like the Jets.
I saw something, I don't know, a week or two ago that there was going to be in-person workouts or whatever, whether it's OTAs, I don't know, but it sounds like yes.
Okay, good. Because I think I would be a little worrisome if we have a rookie quarterback that couldn't see his coach before the very beginning of the season, like get to work together. It didn't seem to set back Burrow or anybody last year, but I just wouldn't wish that for Wilson. Well, guys, the Jets keep making headlines. There's not a lot else fishing around here. It's all green and white. Any final thoughts before we sign off on the show?
Nope.
All right. Well, the draft is nearly upon us. This is the longest countdown of the year besides late June. Have a good one, and we'll be back with Zach Wilson next time.